Welcome to Salsido Paranormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight I'm continuing my review of the Twilight Zone TV series, the original. As always, you can find all episodes of the show, all links to social media and ways to contact me, and all the different ways to listen to the show, as well as ways to support the show, over on the website. I was going to say the podcast page, but now there is a website, and that is salsidoparanormal.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.com. And you can also find over there links to the Troubled Minds radio network, KUAP, digital broadcasting, where this show is featured as well. And we are in the middle of season 2 of the Twilight Zone here. So that is what we're doing here, these shows. And I'm on episode 14 of season 2. Let me just check and verify that, because I always like to do that. And and this episode is called The Whole Truth. And so this show starts starts at a dealership. And there's it's owned by a man named Harvey Honeycutt, Hunnicut, and he's there working at the dealership, and he's visited by a man, elderly man, who offers to sell his vintage car to Harvey for a very low price. And at first, Harvey is curious, but because of the low price, he accepts the offer. And once the paperwork is all finished, the older man tells Harvey that the car is haunted. Of course, he waits till after they're done with the paperwork to do this. And of course, Harvey doesn't believe anything like that, and he laughs it off and takes the car. And of course, now that he has it, he wants to quickly sell it for a lot more than what he got it for. So he after the older man goes away, and Harvey is continuing his work in the dealership. There's a young couple that are looking at cars, looking around the dealership to buy a car. And when they ask him about the cars and everything, and the condition of them and what ones he recommends, he tells them that all of the cars in the lot are terrible, and that this couple should buy from a respectable dealership instead. And so the couple leaves at some point, and Harvey talks to his wife on the phone later, and he tells her that he's going to be home late, and he says right away that he plans to play poker with his friends, which is what he always does when he tells her he's doing inventory. And so you're already seeing here he's not necessarily the best person. And all the time that this is happening, he can't figure out why he's telling everyone these things. And so he's getting more and more freaked out by all this. So after that, his employee, Irving, I'm guessing it's for short, asks about a raise that was promised. Harvey confesses that he always strings his worker along with promises of raises without ever actually giving them the raise. And so because of this, Irv quits. And Harvey realizes that he can't lie. And it all started when he bought this car. And he realizes that if he doesn't get rid of this car, he's going to be ruined. So there's another customer that comes in after that, and who is a politician running for re-election, and his name is Luther Grimbley. Yeah. So and this politician shows interest in this haunted car, despite the fact that it is not in great shape. He nearly buys it, but because Harvey can't lie, he tells this politician about the car's curse, and so about how he can't lie, and Grimbley is surprised by this, and says that he couldn't keep his job if he couldn't lie. And so, when Grimbley asks about the rest of the cars in the lot, Grimbley realizes that Harvey is telling the truth about not being able to lie, and Grimbley realizes that this haunting, or this curse as it's called, is real, and he suggests selling the car to someone else who made a living on lies, showing him a newspaper story about the U.S. playing host to visiting foreign leader. And I'll leave that for you all to check out if you want to know who exactly it is. This is, of course, during the time of the Cold War and everything, so we'll just leave it there. And he suspects that that Harvey will be able to sell the car to this foreign dignitary, and so Harvey calls the local embassy where this dignitary is supposed to be visiting, and convinces one of the representatives of that foreign dignitary to come and look at the car. And so, without lying, but telling only parts of the truth, which is, again, arguable whether or not that's lying, in a way, some people might say, he's able to sell the car as a potential anti-American propaganda tool, which is odd. Just basically the idea is using the car as an example of American, basically how terrible that country is, basically, is the idea. And so the sale goes through. And after the sale is done, is made to this representative, he finds that he's able to go about his regular business again, and so that's basically it from there, other than more political intrigue at the very end. But yeah, so it was a weird episode to me, in that they called the car haunted, but it was more like, I don't know how you describe that. There was a weird energy attached to the car. I don't know if it was a sentient spirit, but of course there have been so many reports of people having weird experiences with vehicles over time, whether it's people seeing apparitions of vehicles, but also I had one of my true stories that I shared here on the show a little while back, about an apparition of an older woman that was seen in a car that had been taken to a place to repair the window, and the workers at this repair center are the ones that saw this apparition, and one of them even saw this woman vanish right before their eyes. And so I do think that energy and or even people can, if they have a lot of affection for a vehicle, they can their energy and or themselves, they can attach to those vehicles in some cases. I wonder about the what the reason will be for the whoever is there to be making everyone tell the truth that owns the car, or if it is sort of more of some kind of a magical or occult kind of ritual that was done on it to get people to only tell the truth. Again, I have no idea, but it was well done. The acting was good as usual, and there was some, like I said, political intrigue there in the show related to the time period, which was the early '60s. So, yeah, that was a neat show, and some of the words were, as far as haunting, was maybe not accurate, but also I wonder if talking about curses was maybe a little bit too dark, and so it was only mentioned, that word was only mentioned, I think, once in the show. Yeah, so it was neat, and the acting, like I said, was really done well, because the actor that played Harvey really sold that he had to tell the truth, and while he was doing this, it was frightening him. It was confusing him. He had no idea what was going on and why he couldn't lie the way he usually would to get through and to take advantage of people and to basically to make his living the way he was making it. So, and I guess it's probably a play on the idea of a car salesman anyway. That this sort of probably inaccurate, but stereotype of them being. I'm sure it's inaccurate. I mean, they can't all be the same way as what you see on TV. But the stereotype of them not being straightforward with everyone who comes to buy a vehicle. So, and I'm guessing there's nuances there as well. So, anyway, that was a good show, and definitely recommend all these shows to everyone. So, yeah, I think that's it for that episode. So we can move on to the next one here, which would be, of course, season 2, episode 15. And let me just get to the page here. I go online to sort of get summaries of these things, and I use them to remember things in the show. So this next episode is called The Invaders. So it starts in an out of the way place, and it's a farmhouse, and there's it's handmade, and doesn't have any electricity or gas, and it's there, but it's not fancy. I'm remembering this now as I read it. And there's a woman in the house, and she's been alone there for many years and doing just fine. But the only problem she had up until this point has been that of getting enough food to eat. So that's basically where the show starts here. So she's an older woman, and it shows her going about her daily life, and she hears a strange sound. It's a deafening sound above her kitchen, and she sees two tiny figures that appear to be robots or mechanical beings, or at the very least, people wearing pressure suits. But they are tiny, and they come from a miniature flying saucer that has landed on the roof of her house. Now, the weird thing about this, in terms of in relation to the real world, is that I have heard, and they're rare, I think, but I have heard accounts and read accounts of people who have seen what look like physical craft of some kind that are tiny, that are miniature, that appeared in their homes or in their surroundings and flew around a little bit and then vanished. So, yeah, there's a weird thing there where there's this crossover between this TV show episode and then these experiences people have had. So these people, miniature people or robots, she doesn't even know for sure what they are. They are apparently startled by her as well, and so they draw weapons, and they look like pistols, and they fire at her, and they leave what look like radiation burns on her skin. So she's outside at this point when she hears a sound and goes outside to see what's going on and sees this vehicle. So she flees into the cabin, goes into the cabin, and so she let me see here. So she eventually is able to wrap one of these figures in a blanket and beat it until it doesn't move anymore. These figures also attack her while she's in the house, sort of picking up objects, small objects, and using them on her, basically. And she ends up getting a couple of cuts from them, from a knife. And this show is, it's so freaky in a way because she never speaks any words, any language. And so you have no idea what part of any country, where this is at, where the show is taking place. And so after she's able to beat one of these creatures, is what she's thinking of them as, to death, she throws it into the fireplace. And she follows the other, which is the other figure, to outside again, to the roof of the house, and attacks the ship with a hatchet. Tries to destroy the ship because you have these creatures that, as far as she's concerned, attacked her first. And again, all this has been happening without anyone talking. And it turns out there's a voice that comes near the end of the show from the craft that talks in English. And he's making a call out to who knows, no one really knows who. And he's frantically warning that whoever he's talking to, that his partner is dead, and that the planet is inhabited by a race of giants, impossible to defeat. And of course, the show zooms in on the ship, and you see the words U.S. Air Force Space Probe Number 1 on it. Turns out these invaders are from Earth, and the woman in the small farmhouse is an alien, race of humanoids on another planet. And you don't find this out until the very end, when she destroys the ship, and then goes back down from. I guess she climbed up to the roof to find out what was going on, and she goes back to the house, and she's all worn out from this encounter with these Earthlings, basically. So it was really well done, especially the part with her not talking. I was wondering about that. I didn't really look forward enough to think forward enough at the time to try to wonder why she wasn't speaking in any language. But it made sense once it got near the end there that why she wasn't, because she was not from Earth and she wasn't from any country on Earth. So she wouldn't speak in any language that we'd recognize, probably. So it was well done. It was, like I said, there was no talking till the very end, which was weird. So and this is something that this TV series, The Twilight Zone, does really well when it in some of the episodes. It's happened a couple of times before. I'm sure there'll be more of the same kind of thing, where it takes these ideas of us experiencing things, of humans, of people on Earth experiencing things, and then it flips them to where the main character in the show is not a normal human. And so it's, let me see here. Let me check on something. Okay. So yeah, it's really well done. It's like I said, this one I was just talking about is episode 15 of season 2 of The Twilight Zone. So, but yeah, it's really well done, and it's just another example of them sort of taking these ideas and switching things around in a way that that you don't expect right away. Sometimes it does become sort of apparent partway through the episode, and you figure out what they're going for, but it's still done well enough where it's a good show. And yeah, so that was that one. Just looking ahead at the next episodes we'll be reviewing here, we have let's see here. I'm going to go back to the list of episodes here, but we're still in the middle of season 2, getting close to, I think, around we're about midway, halfway through that season. And there's still 3 more seasons after that to review. So we'll be doing this review series for a long time, but that's okay. These are sort of, these review shows are, I do these for, and save them for when I'm not able to do my other regular shows. And so these are fun to do, and to cover these things, because so many of these shows, they're fiction, but there's aspects to all of them that you can find in reports of anomalous events, whether it's, again, UFOs or aliens or ghosts or weird time anomalies, alternate parallel universes. All those things, in different ways, are featured in these shows. Magic in one case. So, and I don't even know what's left. Like I said, I'm only on season 2 out of 5 seasons. So, I do want to start reviewing more current TV series or recent TV series. I'm thinking once we finish with The Twilight Zone, whenever that happens, I want to start reviewing Stranger Things, the TV series, the Netflix series. Especially since the last season is supposed to, as far as I know, come out later on this year. By that time, hopefully, I'll be done with reviewing The Twilight Zone, and I can start reviewing the Stranger Things TV series, and we can go from there. And so, yeah, I think that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you all next time on Salsido Paranormal. Take care.